Alex, thank you for joining me for this conversation about NFTs. You are one of my favorite people to see every year at NFT NYC, and you are an incredible example to entrepreneurs like me with all the success you've had, not just at Celsius, but in the past. For the people that may not know who you are, or maybe they don't even know about Celsius, which would be surprising, please introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. So, so I've been a tech entrepreneur for over 30 years now, I guess. 8 startups as a serial founder, 6 kids at home. So I'm an underachiever, like just and 3 unicorns. So obviously, like you said, had a lot of success. I was lucky to come here as an immigrant when the internet just got started. So I got to work on voice over IP. I wrote the original patents. 1994, built some of the original gateways, and then took the company public, Arbinet, on the NASDAQ. Also built the wireless in the subway. So if you have 5 bars and it's 5G or Wi-Fi, my company Transit Wireless provides that service. And more recently, kind of focused on this crypto revolution. We launched Celsius in 2017 and focused on this idea that crypto assets should pay yield. That was a completely crazy idea back then. And we were the first to launch the service, first to pay yield on what is now 45 different digital assets. We paid over $1 billion to over 1 million customers worldwide. And we manage over 30 billion in assets. So it's just phenomenal ride. Probably the fastest in history to get to 30 billion in assets, right? Fastest company in history to get to 30 billion in less than 4 years.
When I met you 3 or so years ago, I still have the HODL, thing that goes around your neck. I can't remember what it's called. But one of the things that stood out to me, Alex, was that your employees really, really spoke highly of you behind your back. They really enjoyed working with you. They said great things about you as a leader. And so a lot of emphasis in the Web3 world is on community. And oftentimes it's about the Discord community and the Twitter community and, who has a CryptoPunk. I was wondering if you could talk about the community that's fostered in your culture of your company and how you have continually fostered communities of employees, strategic partners, vendors, the people that are closest to you, and how maybe you're dealing with that differently in this decentralized Web3 environment.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And, what we all vowed was to basically not replicate Wall Street, right? Build something new that is for the people, by the people. And a lot of companies in crypto have to admit that they're just a copy of some Wall Street firm, if it's a brokerage firm or if it's an asset management firm or whatever. And Celsius really vowed to always put the customer first, always act in the customer's best interest. And we hired people who actually care about that, right? People who, came to work with us because they believed that this is possible, because they believed that creating the future of finance is something that is important and whose time has come. And we call them Celsians, right? These are people that use Celsius, and most of our employees actually came because they built something or they helped us with something. They came to a show and just manned the booth without us paying them, things like that. And they showed that they have the grit and the passion to do this stuff. And so really, when you have such a close relationship with the community, which is now, again, over 1 million people, and, like people just come to meet us anywhere we travel to. They come to meet us in hordes. I was just in London, 550 people showed up, right? And with all the travel restrictions and all the COVID tests and everything else, they flew from all over just to come and meet with us, take pictures, share the stories. And we're all going through the same journey, right? I mean, I might be the largest user of Celsius. I have the most personal assets in Celsius, but everybody is enjoying the same ride, right? So we're treating everybody equally and so on. So I think the lesson here for many other companies is that you really have to be transparent, you have to be truthful, you have to be passionate but caring, right? And for example, we do an AMA every Friday where we answer customers' questions on YouTube. We do a Twitter hangout every Tuesdays where we spend 2 or 3 hours talking to Celsians who want to interact with us. And again, tens of thousands of people watch these things. So all of that creates trust, right? When you're willing to answer any question and you do it several times a week. And again, this culture propagates. We now have 530 people in the company. Every Celsian is the same way, right? So when you have that, the customers appreciate it. And when they appreciate it, they tell their friends, they tell their family. And half of our customers come from referrals, right? So it's a huge, I don't know many companies that have that kind of, that high of a referral rate and a 90-something% retention rate. So those are just phenomenal numbers. Now, again, we paid them $1 billion. So there's a very good reason why they're so passionate about it. We change people's lives every day. But we're super excited about that because it's definitely something that it should be the standard for every other crypto company.
When you have, over 500 employees, and that is maybe not going to be a common thing with the Web3 companies. And so when it comes to finding great talent, a lot of times I'll talk with guests about technology. Could you talk about the type of tech skill set that you believe is most important today and that you're going to be leaning into in the future? If there's a young gal and she says, hey, I'd love to work at Celsius in tech and as a developer, and she comes to you and she says, tell me what to do. What do I study? What do I become an expert in if I want to be a part of the future of Celsius's growth? What type of talent are you looking for, and how would you advise young people that are wanting to foster the skills that you and your peers would find valuable?
So first you have to show up with a helmet that shows that you're willing to go to the moon,
That's right, to the moon. Bitcoin high today.
All-time high. What a day to do this recording, right? I mean, we've been telling people to hodl for 4 years. And obviously the ones who listen to us are celebrating today. The ones who try to trade or try to time the market have less coins than the people who just hodled and got yield from Celsius, right? So we beat the index every year by 6 or 7%. But for talent, look, the thing is that most people underestimate themselves, right? They look in the mirror and say, gosh, I've never worked for a crypto company. Gosh, I don't know how to do programming in Solidity or in some other language that very few people know how to write in, right? And really none of that matters, right? If you have the passion, if you understand what this is all about, the expert, the people, world experts like me, right, are maybe 6 months ahead of you. Meaning in 6 months, you can catch up and surpass me because the industry is moving so fast and it's constantly changing. So it's not about knowing the history of crypto. It's about inventing the next big thing or helping, create the next big thing and coming up with an original idea, right? There's so much innovation going on in CeFi and DeFi and so on that really it's about your skills and your passion and your commitment rather than, okay, I have 20 years experience working for AWS or working for somebody else. So really people have to start with listening to their heart instead of their brains and really finding that project that they're super passionate about, if it's NFTs or if it's, again, DeFi or if it's any of the 200 blockchains that are competing for attention in the cryptosphere.
How about when you think about the future and not as a prophet or saying, here's what's going to happen, more Nostradamus, but when you think about the future that you want to build, when you think about the future that drives you to get up in the morning or drives you to make the big decisions that you have in front of you, or even drives you to hodl, your own assets inside of your own company. Yeah, exactly. I have the scarf. I remember the word. I have the scarf still.
That's an original. You should create an NFT of that because there aren't.
I know.
We don't make those anymore. So
I know. I should have you sign it and put one of one.
Exactly.
So the future, like let's just go a
yeah.
couple years out, and NFT 2024. What are you hoping for yourself, for Celsius, in the next couple of years?
Well, so the number one thing that's important for me is really how many people did we help, right? Well, how many people did we bring into crypto, and are their lives better because they've touched any of these products or services that we talked about, right? And the opportunity again is to transform finance, and frankly, people always like give me compliments, say, "Wow, Celsius is amazing," and I say to them, "Look, this wasn't a fair fight." Meaning the banks are so bad at treating their customers. They are taking the customers for granted. They're charging them crazy fees, inactivity fee, ATM fee, overdraft fee, right? The checking fee, you name it, fee upon fee upon fee. That it's really easy to win over these customers. You don't have to do much to convince customers to unbank themselves and come to companies like Celsius. So our people will measure us 2023 for 2025 based on, did we deliver? Did we continue to deliver? So Celsius is already 4 years old. We've delivered for 4 years. Can we continue to scale? Did it work for the first million people, but does it work for 100 million people? Does it work for 1 billion people? That is really the challenge that we're all facing, because today a lot of the returns or a lot of the yield that is created is from the FOMO and the fact that so many people are joining versus actual sustainable sources of yield, which Celsius prides itself on having only sustainable sources of yield versus just minting more and more tokens or creating more and more farming opportunities, right? So we believe that, okay, our model has to scale to 100 million, has to scale to 1 billion, and not really take a hit, right? The yields that we're paying today are some of the highest we've ever paid. So obviously, us scaling so much, we grew 30x in the last 12 months, has not hurt the company or not our ability to deliver yields. So that is probably challenge number one.
I want to ask you a question on the future that I haven't asked anybody else. And what would you like to see the NFT community and like the crypto community at large stop talking about in the future? What do you think? What do you think is a broken mentality or a filter that's off that people need to take a step back and not press in so hard in future vision casting around this or these different areas?
Sure. Yeah. So look, I think we have too many flippers, right? I mean, too many people who are in it just for a quick buck. And again, they're not seeing the forest. They're just seeing the next tree, right? They're focused on, okay, I can buy this punk and flip it immediately and get 20% of my money, or make whatever, or buy some new issuance of apes or something else and hodl it for a little bit and flip it to somebody else and make 5 times my money, right? So most of the assets in the world are non-fungible assets, right? There's no 2 cars on the road that are exactly the same. The mileage is different, the features are different, no 2 homes that are the same, and so on and so on. So the opportunity or the number of non-fungible assets actually exceeds the number of fungible assets that we all take for granted in the cryptosphere. So the opportunity is tremendous, but we all focus on where we can flip as fast as possible versus where can we reinvent, our entire economy, right? And basically bring or scale that NFT opportunity to be bigger than DeFi or bigger than CeFi, right? And that's what we've been talking about for years. I mean, I've been coming to the NFT.NYC show, I don't know, was it 5-6 years now? And it's the same conversation, right? And we're seeing, we had the Crypto Kitties, we had the punks, we had all these different things launch, but where are the kind of the global opportunities? Okay, real estate or healthcare or dealing with, like representing real assets in auctions and things like that, right? So we're still in the early days of NFT adoption, and I would definitely like to see less speculation and more real adoption from real use cases that we can we know are going to be there for the next 100 or 200 years.
Thanks for answering that. I think that there's some people that should go back, rewind 3 minutes, and listen again. Maybe a final word. We like to keep these fairly short so they're shareable and easy to engage with. If you have all the banners in Times Square, you have the attention of the 5,000 plus people at NFT NYC, and you personally, Alex, make a statement and maybe a different statement from Celsius. Celsius is probably HODL. But what message or final word might you want to give to the NFT community at large?
Sure. So we have several kind of slogans. So I would scream, "Hey, stop crossing the street. Look up here." Do good, then do well, right? And unbank yourself, right? Unbank the bank and then unbank the unbanked. That's the mission that we're trying to do, right? And all these things are things that are we've heard as kids, right? Do good, then do well, or giving is receiving. And Celsius is proving beyond any doubt that doing that actually results in more value both to the company and to the customers. So we encourage you, we urge you to copy our business model. If you want to build the future, please copy the Celsius business model.
I feel like you just gave me a dozen bumper stickers. Pay attention. Look over here. Unbank yourself. Copy us. It's very, very good. Well, for those that might be watching us live or that see the archive of this conversation, that's what it is. It's a genuine conversation between Alex and myself. If you don't know me, my name's Ian Utile. I'm one of the co-producers at NFT NYC. I'll be back again with another one of these. And Alex, I thank you with all that is within me for jumping on, taking time out to say hello to me and all the folks that might be interested in your update. So thank you.
And we're doing it on October 20th, the day Bitcoin reached a new all-time high and is just shooting straight to the moon. So hodl, hodl, hodl.
Hodl with your helmets on, everybody.